Alrighty. All right. So we're probably gonna get like, probably gonna do like, I'd say what, level 70 on our hardcore characters, and then we'll go ahead and do our softcore Landslide Druid. Shouldn't really take too long. We have plenty of stuff left over. What do I have in my chest for elixirs? Okay, good. I have plenty of fortitude elixirs. Honestly, I probably just need to drop some of this stuff off and pick up, just pick up like 20 of these. How much XP does this give? 8%. I think this is 6%. We'll drop now. Overpower, attack speed, resource reduction. We'll do resource reduction. Take like 20 of these. Toss the rest in there. That'll help make it where this goes a little faster. Okay. Let's get some incense going. Make some cheap ones. They're all 5%. We'll just do some armor ones.
Don't waste that.
I'll get my headset real quick. Hello, wife. Oh my gosh. He crawled up underneath the desk. What are you doing, my son? Alright, let's go. We're gonna get rid of old stone. I hate old stone. It takes too long. Well, it's not too bad, actually, but we have a decent one here. Fetid mausoleum. So we'll do 70 on him, then we'll do 70 on my other hardcore character, and then we'll move into our softcore character and finish that out. Probably do like, I don't know what level we can get to. Did I remember to put my, no, I don't think I did. I gotta go back and not masterwork, but temper this stuff. Let me go back real quick. Let me kill this guy. There we go. Temper everything. I think I gotta swap around. Yeah, I gotta swap around a couple aspects. Yeah.
I need time to do that.
How can I help?
HP. Just give me some HP. Come on now. There we go. I wish we had more utility choices. I hope they have more in the future. Throw some like attack speed in there or something. Just make it a little more enticing than just lucky hit stuff. I mean, there's thorns in there. I want to make a thorns build later on, but not right now. Damn, total armor how many times? Thank you. It's crazy. That's fine. And then wish we had more stuff for pulverize too, but we don't. A lot of really bad. It's like petrify duration, that's about it. I don't even have petrify on my bar right now. Or maybe lacerate would be good. Lacerate duration, petrify duration. I don't have petrify, so it doesn't matter. There we go. Alright. Pulverize, Earth Sign, Horror. And I think, what are we missing? Earth Sign, Horror, and one other aspect. We have quicksand. Throw some undying on there. What are we missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. Not rapid. Shepherds, there we go. I'm like, what am I missing? I can't remember. All right. Now we're good to go. Jesus. Give me just a second. Everything's going pretty good so far. Just trying to level up some hardcore builds, and then we're gonna level up our softcore landslide setup. So now that we got everything set up, we'll be able to get this going a lot faster. Ooh, nice. Got some pretty I know people really like using Calm Breeze, man, but I feel like Pulverize and Wolves is just so much better. Your bossing damage is so much better. That the hit from Wolves just really really excels in the early game. I mean, obviously it scales into the late game too, but for single target, man, he's just nothing better. Just immediate damage. You don't have to wait for the poison to run down. Later scales ridiculously high, but in the early game, I feel like Wolves is just a little bit better.
I'm not ready yet.
What are you doing? Oh, man, my son is underneath my desk. What are you doing? I wish these Pentian boots. The problem with these uniques is a lot of them, they just inflict like slow or something like that. They don't really translate well into content in the late game because they don't affect bosses. they really have to think about making it where crowd control effects affect bosses in some way, or at least debuff the bosses to some degree to allow the damage modifiers to apply. Like, damage to crowd control enemies is a big part of earth skills on Druid, and Earth and Devastation is obviously the best crit damage multiplier that we have in our Paragon board. And the fact that you build it using damage to crowd control enemies really sucks when it comes to bossing. I mean, that is until you stun the bosses, but really the only good skills we have to stun bosses is Landslide currently. Everything else takes forever, comparatively. Like Landslide, you can really get that stagger bar going just because you can proc so many pillars, but anything else, it seems like it takes quite some time. Even with all the utility affixes you can roll on your gear pieces, it still takes a long time to stagger bosses. I'd rather them get rid of the stagger bar and just allow your crowd control effects to have some kind of effect on bosses, whether it be just a debuff that you can apply to them, or directly CCing them for a very small period of time. Nothing too game breaking, of course. I think the majority of the builds would be fine for that. Obviously the overtuned builds that we currently have in the game would be a little bit overpowered. You just stun the boss and kill him so fast without really putting yourself in danger. So this is going to be an overpower version of Pulverize that I'm building out here, and then I have my other hardcore character that I'm just going to stick with Wolf Windshear. Bless you. And then I just can't sacrifice any HP, man. Anything that sacrifices HP just doesn't hold up well in the pit. You need like at least 80k HP, I think. Probably even higher than that. I probably feel safe with 80k though. What are you doing, monster?
I'm not ready yet.
Don't take my drink, bro. It's the only drink I got. I'm gonna run Shapeshifter in this build. I think Shapeshifter works really well for Pulverize Clarity setups. And it'll allow me to go away from some of the crit strike nodes. Or I mean crit strike affixes. Let's see. Not really good there. I'm fine with that. Digigrade gate. There we go. That's fine. Gotta speed this up. Did I leave? Come on now. One all the way back here?
I must wait. I'm not ready.
Man, it's such a bad innate passive on the boots. Just giving you that little bit of extra movement speed there, just for using your evade. Hope they tune that one up. Evade stacks and evade cooldown is just so much better. I'd even just rather them just take this one out of the game and just leave evade stacks and evade cooldown in the game. Although you can get evade cooldown on your character, so maybe there's a way that you could possibly keep this 100% uptime. It doesn't last long enough, I don't think. Crazy how fast you can level with these little events here. I'm kind of wondering how much HP I can manage to build out on this if I go overpower. I think I'll go out of my way to pick up more HP nodes. I usually pick up as many as I can, but I don't typically try to grab every single one. But I might actually go ahead and do that. Let's see how high we can get our HP. I feel like if these boots had like attack reduce evade cooldown, they'd be way better. Nice. What do we get? Willpower? We'll take it. I don't know if I'll need resource cost reduction, so I might go ahead and roll a max life overpower willpower. Max life overpower willpower roll on a two-hander. Although I am kind of thinking about going, I don't know. Probably will just go two-handed mace. Typically I would go two-handed axe, but because a lot of the issues in later tiers of the vault tend to be like the amount of health the enemies have, I think having a two-handed mace would probably still be the best option in terms of like consistent damage. because I don't think I'll be one-shotting anything. Give me the Digigrade Gate. There we go. Pretty bad luck there. I keep getting the lowest Digigrade Gate the game can give me. That's okay though. Metamorphosis and Might.
Don't ruin all that work.
Alrighty.
While I'm in town.
I also think I need to probably go ahead and do these Helltides just to collect the Tree of Whispers quest from them every time they pop up. I don't like how I'd rather level faster, but I don't know. Try to get through this fast. Nice. Easy. Do I have a scroll? No. I think they should increase the drop rate of scrolls now that we don't have death elixirs. I mean, I don't even know what I would use a scroll for anyway, just because I mean, typically when I die it's going to be a one-shot, which I can't really scroll out of. Like, that's pretty much been my whole issue. The one time I was trying to use a scroll, my keyboard was acting funky, so it didn't really give me the opportunity. But I'm not even sure, outside of like disconnecting, why you would need to use a scroll. I almost feel like it's an entirely useless item now. Like before with the death elixirs, you could scroll out when you procced it. It wasn't a big deal. Now it just feels like you just get one shot and the scrolls can't really save you. I've really never been in a situation where I've been like, okay, I'm gonna use a scroll. The only time I would use a scroll is if I built up stacks in a boss fight, like doing tormented bosses. Like if I build my stacks too high, then I'll scroll out so I don't get one shot. Then I can actually see the one shot coming. And I know that if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna die. But outside of that, I don't really see why you would get any value out of them. I think just that alone gives them a decent amount of value, but it's just like, how many do you get? I had a decent amount, but I died with the character had like 9 of them on them. 62. Man, I sure wish they had never nerfed some of the things that they had on the PTR. Like, I really did enjoy the crit chance that they gave us. I know we get high rolls still, but I did like the crit chance, the attack speed. Really liked all that stuff. The one I really liked the most was the spirit cost reduction on the weapon. I felt like that opened up so many doors for your builds. If I could have one back, it would be that spirit cost reduction. Anything else is like, okay, so what? I can get crit chance, that's fine. But that spirit cost reduction roll on the weapon was so nice. Life per second. And then we'll go survival instincts. I definitely want to get this overpower node. That's a lot of overpower. And I want to get the this would actually be pretty good too. If I go, I'll have to sort these boards out later. I think I'll just go here, travel up here, grab that, and then here, pick up that, come down, grab the overpower. Just so much overpower right there. I'll figure out the boards and mobilytics, and then I'll apply them.
I need more time.
Hey, what's up? How are you doing, Moon? I'm gonna be I'm gonna getting 2 of my hardcore characters set up to level 70, and then I'm gonna be doing my softcore Landslide Druid after that. Sure they don't sneak up. Okay, this is the way we gotta go. I hate this level because I always forget one Animus carrier in like a corner of the area. There's always like one guy hanging out in the corner, and I just casually pass it up, and I have to run all the way back. go back up here and pick up this. That's nice. Come on. You know, at first I really didn't like the Digigrade Gate affix on the PTR, but when they buffed it, gave us like 6 stacks of Digigrade Gate. It's definitely the easiest way to build movement speed now on the Druid. Nothing like a good old artillery shrine. I'll wait to use those. Can you guys hear me well enough?
I must wait a minute.
They need to make those greed shrines way more valuable. What's up, my son? You okay? Missing one. Alrighty. I feel like the codex changes have made Pulverize like the best leveling build. It's just so easy to get those aspects now. And with like something like Digigrade Gate, having all that movement speed. Left the key back here. Dang, I just keep getting helmets. Helmets with greater affix rolls. Make sure my... Okay, good. Just want to make sure my mic was on all the way. I don't know if you guys could hear me or not. See, what do we got? Bloodsoaked Crag. I think I'll get the next Helltide. I should probably get this Helltide, honestly. I know I need to build my gold up. Let's go ahead and do the Helltide. Why not? Got tons of mine cages. Just get the Tree of Whisper stuff. When I was doing the pit last night and I died on my Landslide character, I forgot that I had all of my Varshan mats in my inventory. So now I have 0 Varshan mats. What are the 2 goals here? Cinders, Demon Swarmers. Let's go over here. Only thing I hate about doing this sometimes is all the collective amount of AoE that comes from killing enemies in Helltide sometimes is really annoying. Like, you can have poison explosions in the early levels. It's annoying. Poison and volcanic explosions. Meteors dropping. And it's hard to see everything. Have you guys had any issues in the Helltides yourselves? I had a Helltide the other night where the Blood Maiden was completely invisible. Like I didn't even know where she was at. I was taking damage. I was just trying to watch where everybody else was kind of aiming their attacks. Thought it was kind of funny. Want to go ahead and put a faithful heart up. And get something out of it. Be certain they spawn. Yeah, there we go. We'll have to run around and get the demon swarmers. I really hope they don't take the mine cages out of the game, man. I feel like mine cages are just perfect for Helltides. Right. I knew it. I always get this. Always. All the time. I always get an insatiable fury no matter what. I can always count on that one unique all the time to always drop. Something is happening all at once. Let's get rid of some of these. Yo, I hate when my metamorphosis glitches like that. It kind of like just jumps into nothing. Ooh, snap. Why is this guy so tanky? I'll just let him over there. Pick up everything that I can.
must wait a moment.
My inventory's almost full. I wish Cyclone would work like that Necro Pool does. That thing would be so good if we had something like that. I would love to have a pool like that on Druid outside of just using the Malignant Ring. But then I would feel like the Malignant Ring would be just completely useless if they gave us something like that. Although it pretty much isn't that useful anymore now. Just because of how starved the class is for aspect slots. You want to make better choices than just a ring that gives you a pool if you use your ultimate. Yeah, level 66. Let's go get rid of the rare stuff. I was thinking if they're not going to balance, it doesn't seem like they're very interested in like balancing out the classes, like Barb and stuff, because every season has been like Barbarian overkill since season 1. After season 1, they've just made Barbarian absurd. I was thinking it'd probably be better if they don't want to balance the classes out like that, like nerf stuff. They should probably give all the classes multiple aspect slots. Like, they need to give Druid 2 more aspect slots. Like, give us the option to have a totem and a one-hander with the staff as well. I think that would do a lot to balance out things. Also, they could probably uncap Earth and Devastation and then make it scale off of a different damage type. Like, instead of damage to close, damage to crowd control enemies, maybe, I don't know, crit strike damage modifier. At least then it would be kind of thematic, since it's a crit strike multiplier. Gives you like 40% or 20% of your crit strike damage bucket, something like that. Because damage to crowd control enemies is such a... It's just so inconsistent because it doesn't affect bosses. Like, I, for one, would rather them, like, balance out Barbarian than bring every class up to being as powerful as Barbarian, because it makes all the current game really bad except for the Pit. Like, the Pit, you can actually scale it a little bit and, you know, find some difficulty in the Pit, only because of how tanky the enemies are. But Tormented bosses are a cakewalk for Barbarian. Like, everything's a cakewalk for that class. And it doesn't really seem like they're going to be nerfing it at all. At least not from what it looks like from the average interactions and stuff. So I think if they just gave the like a totem and a two-hander slot that you could always have on your character no matter what. Probably make it a lot better. Because I know there are quite a few aspects that I just simply would love to run, but I can't because I'm always like arguing different aspect slots. Like, okay, do I want to run accelerate aspect, or do I want to run changeling, or do I, you know, do I want to have the blood boil aspect, which I'd really love to have on a pulverized overpowered druid, or do I want to have changeling because it gives you a big crit, gives you a big damage multiplier. It'd be nice not to have to make those choices. And I think if they gave us more crit damage options in our Paragon board and really buff up those Paragon nodes, like massive amounts of crit damage, it would definitely balance out Earth skills versus like Storm skills. I'd really like more nerfs, but I know people don't like nerfs. I think that's probably the best way to... I think it would be probably the best way to make sure that it doesn't trivialize all the content that exists. But I know people typically don't like nerfs. Oh, I got my... Didn't even notice it. Come on. Hurry up. Look at the... Like, I swear to you, I feel like Earth skill, like any ground targeted skill damage, like bypasses the enemy sometime. There has to be some kind of like bug with that, like some weird hit detection issue. Because there are too many times where I've noticed that when I'm using Earth skills like Landslide or I'm using something like Pulverize, the damage just goes right past the enemy. It doesn't even really hit them with anything. It's like a lot of times, actually. I don't really want to look through all this stuff. Unfortunately, I'll keep this. Get back out there. Hopefully I can get enough cinders to pick up another chest. Do I have enough time to do the Blood Maiden? No, definitely not. What do I got? 150? Let's run over here, see if we can't pick up. Hopefully this is a heavy weapons. I wish I had enough time to do the Blood Maiden. I should have went right to the Blood Maiden event, but I kind of got lost in thought. Good. I think I've gotten... Is that a new horse? Thought I had all the horses. Okay. Those guys are always so funny. I think that's probably my favorite enemy type in the game. They just like hold up their axes and then slowly walk at you, like a serial killer movie. I just there's something about it. Let's go. By the way, guys, if you have a hardcore character and you're doing leveling or anything, you're more than welcome to join me. My battle tag and everything is in the description of the stream. I'll be doing this character to about 70, and then I'm going to do another hardcore character to about 70, and then I'm swapping to my softcore character, and then we'll finish out the rest of the stream leveling that softcore character. It shouldn't take me too long to get to 70 on my hardcore characters. And you're more than welcome to join me. My softcore character is in tier 4, so I have quite a few of those to level anyway. I'm kind of behind on the season. But we are going to catch up slowly, well, hopefully quickly and surely, but maybe slowly but surely. I'm pretty excited that they're going to finally fix Dolmen Stone. I'm excited to see what that build can do with the double cast. I actually want to see what it can do with Nature's Fury too. Because Nature's Fury, just kind of spamming that with that. See how many tornadoes you can get, how many lightning storms you can get built up with the double cast boulder. I think that'd be pretty interesting to check that out. Especially with Hurricane being so powerful right now. What? I'd imagine you could probably get some pretty solid hits off with Hurricane. Even though you'll have like a really low duration comparatively. Bro, can you... Hey, man. Calm down. You're swinging that thing around. Like a little warrior over here. Every time you come in, babe, he goes under the desk. He's like, you're not getting me out of here, Mom. I'm staying. You put him to bed? Yeah, good luck. You can close the door if you want to. I don't like it, but yeah, that's fine. I almost want to remake my build, my leveling build to match the wolves setup. Like I said, I know a lot of people like the Calm Breeze because of the heavy poison damage you get. But I noticed in the early game it doesn't scale too well on bosses. And wolves just scale so well for single target in the early game. You can clear bosses so much faster. I have mine set up with Hurricane, but I don't know. I kind of really like this. We definitely need a better affix for Pulverize. I feel like Pulverize size, it's really cool that you can build Pulverize size, but it just doesn't really seem like it's that useful. It's like Lightning Storm duration. Like, sure, you can have it, but it's not really going to fundamentally change the way your build functions just because your Pulverize can hit a few more enemies. It's already so dang big. Like, you already hit so many enemies with it already. and most of the maps are relatively narrow, and enemies kind of funnel into just about the exact size of your normal pulverize. Like, I rarely find myself being overwhelmed by enough enemies that my pulverize wouldn't hit the majority of them, if not every single one of the enemies that I'm attacking. It's an interesting idea, but with double cast affixes being so powerful, I just feel like if you don't give a skill a damage modifier to kind of match that, it doesn't feel as good as it could. I just don't know exactly what they would do outside of obviously a double cast pulverize, which I would think would be a little insane, but it would be cool to see 2 pulverize. But I think that's just kind of getting into the neighborhood of now everything is just double cast, so why not just give it double cast? It'd be nice if they could come up with a way of creating an affix that would kind of change the way pulverize functions, but not be double cast. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like a stacking debuff, like every time you hit an enemy. Or overpower, like give us an affix that allow us to overpower more often. I think that would probably be the best way to buff up the damage. Outside of like, you know, running a, what's the stupid amulet? Banish Lords. Give us something that will give us more overpower opportunity. I think that would probably be the best way to do it. Although it would pigeonhole you into an overpower build for pulverize. I don't know. Because I like the crit build, even though I don't know. I just enjoy the crit build more. Just because you can get so much more movement speed when you have an amulet that you can actually roll movement speed on. We'll roll that. Full power. Crit strike. I guess we can go with that. I'm fine with that. I think I'd rather have the max life for right now. Yeah, that's probably the best way I want to do it. I'll probably end up picking up Earth Skill Critical Strike chance. Just to give me more crit strike chance. Come on, just give me... Jesus. Whatever. We'll take it. see if I can get petrified duration. I wonder if I should go Earth Overpower. My other issue is I don't know. Hey, it's going pretty good. How are you doing, Willer? The other issue is I don't know if Earth Overpower damage is multiplied by the Banished Lord's Amulet. That would be interesting to know. We'll just stick it with Earth damage. Jesus. Give me Digigrade Gate, please. Whatever. It's not what I wanted to do. Some of these lucky hit values need to be adjusted too. Lucky hit is so hit or miss. Kind of want to go with resource cost, resource generation. I don't know if I want to go with resource cost reduction. That way it's easier to build up your pulverize. I mean, build up your Banished Lords. That's fine. I think that's it. So we have 17, and then we have four, five. I think what I'll do is I'll have like a two-hander with like a big Earth crit chance, and the rest will be like Earth Overpower damage. I think that's what I'll do. I think that combined with Shapeshift will probably bring me as close to 100% crit chance. Shepherds. Yeah, I'll definitely go for a two-hander. I think that'd probably be the best bet. Just have to really be picky. About what aspect I use. And then go ahead and use the alpha. I think I have a Banished Lords. Don't I? Do I? Do I not have one? I think I have one in here somewhere. Maybe I don't. Maybe I lost it or junked it. Damn. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to farm one. Blood Maiden, Cultist Ritual. Let's go do that real fast. 2 more levels and we'll swap over to our werewolf wind shear build, and then we'll swap into our softcore after we hit 70 on that build. This is where, like, people will grief you. That's one thing about hardcore. I have noticed people will run underneath you when they have that little explosion. It's kind of funny. Oh, I forgot to put on my Umbra ring. Put my wolf back here. The way she lights up like that when whenever they're hitting her with that frozen orb, it reminds me of like the old school arcade, the arcade side scroller games like the Ninja Turtles or X-Men, when you would hit the enemies and they would just kind of flicker. Let's see. Full power. Oh, it's an 8. 877. I'm just doing that one. I'll just go find the cultist rituals. I see you said lost your. I'll look at it in just a second. Guarding to finish my Renona and dry steps. The best way you can tell if you've done the side dungeons, Willer, is just when you look at them. If they have like this little orange circle, then you've completed it, right? Like it, as long as they have, it just shows that you've already gotten the aspect out of there. Or if you have the treasure chest there, then it shows that you haven't done it. So that's the best indicator right there that you can visually see without having to, search for anything. Oh, Cat, I've lost several. I'll show you, let me show you something real quick. I've shown people this little clip. I'll show you a clip of me losing my level 100 Druid here. And I was actually about to make a build video on my werewolf wind shear, and this was about like last week. And my keyboard decided that I should die. And I'll show it to you in just a second. It's kind of a funny video. I've lost, and then the other night I lost a level 100 Landslide Druid. I dodged in, I was doing a tier 61 pit, and I had like 55, almost 60k HP. And I was fighting the boss, Lilith wave spawned. I dodged out of the way, but the game, I guess, didn't think I dodged out of the way. And got one shot by a Lilith wave. So, I've lost a couple characters. I lost one character to an unknown killer. I'm not sure what it was that killed me. Neither does the game. So, I can definitely feel your pain on that one. And that usually happens when I'm about to make a build video for some reason, which is exactly why I said to myself, I was never going to start the season off in hardcore again. I was just going to start off in softcore to do content and then transition to hardcore. But I wanted to do hardcore so bad this season because everything changed. And I also wanted to do the gauntlet and get first place in the gauntlet for the very first week of the season. And I did that, so I'm pretty happy with my hardcore. I will forever be enshrined in the Hall of Ancients, or whatever it's called, in Season 4, Week 1. Alright, let me go turn these in real fast. I'll show you that clip. It might make you feel a little bit better. Let me show you the... I have it saved right here just for my viewing pleasure. So I'm just casually farming here. Just watch my skill bar here. You'll see my keyboard start overriding my controller over and over again, and I can't move my character, and I can't scroll of escape out because every time it swaps over to my keyboard, it cancels out my scroll wheel. Oh, sorry. It's about to happen. There it is. And I'm panicking here. I'm like, oh God, I can't get out. I'm trying to run away. I'm like, okay, maybe if I kill, oh, swaps again. I get lucky here. Dodge away. I'm like, I'm trying to spam my roar. You see my roar's not even going off. Every time I try to scroll out, bang, gone in the blink of an eye. Yep, that's my keyboard. My keyboard really didn't like me here. So, just been having a time of it in hardcore. On top of that, I was pretty sick when the season launched, so I didn't really have a time. My whole family was sick, so I haven't had a lot of time to make content recently. And I definitely couldn't stream because every time I was talking, I was coughing like crazy. Coughing and sneezing and blowing my nose. No one wants to hear that. But yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I've lost a couple hardcore already. And I would like to say most of it is definitely not my fault, but there's one that was my fault, but I'll take that one on the chin. Yeah, I feel you on that, CrossFit. Yeah, getting all the altars of Lilith is listen, I almost didn't finish my softcore journey. Like, I had to get all of my renown grind again for softcore, in season 2, bro, I was so bored having to do that. It was it was so terrible. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. So I definitely know how that feels. Getting that renown again is a pain in the neck. One of the worst parts of the game. And I honestly love the story. I think they did a great job, and and some of the side quests are really, really good. But just doing them more than once, oh, I hate doing that. Not a big fan. I'll show you my graveyard too, so that way you know. Something I've learned in this season, don't make characters where you have to sacrifice HP. So this character was rage after I lost this, not that character. After I lost this character, I was quickly leveling this character in annoyance because I lost this character. And I just pushed too hard. That wasn't a big deal. That only took like an hour or so to get there. This character died to nothing. I'm not sure what it was. Neither is the game. I think I lagged and might have been over something. I don't know. But this character died to nothing. And then this character died to the tormented, as you can see, Echo of Zur. So I was actually... I was fighting the boss. And he double stacked a debuff on me. And this happened in like a split second. He double stacked the debuff on me and then hit me at the same time. And I had no real chance to outplay that. It just straight one-shot me. Yeah, at 98. Yeah, unknown killer. Don't know exactly what got me, but it did. It got me good. So, and most of that too is like right before I was going to make a build video. That's what really sucks, when I'm collecting gameplay footage and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a build now. And yeah, that didn't work out at all. So, and then like I said, last night, lost my Landslide Druid in the pit to a Lilith wave that I'm pretty sure I dodged, but it is what it is. You get numb after a while. After a while, it's like, ah, whatever. So I just restarted the Landslide. The reason why that happened, though, is because you have to sacrifice Ursine Strength to make a decent Landslide set. Well, not really, but I wanted to because I wanted to play around with Nature's Fury. Because that's a pretty cool-looking build, even though it is bugged. It is still pretty cool-looking. And, yeah, so that happened. So I just made it in Softcore. And what I'm going to do is do an Overpower Werebear, a Pulverize build for Hardcore. And I'm going to run a Wolf Windshear build for Hardcore. Because you don't have to sacrifice on HP for those builds. And not having to sacrifice HP is the best thing. Like, building up 80 to 100k HP on a character just helps kind of keep you from dying to anything, even at high tier pits. At least gives you an opportunity to absorb at least one shot. You know, you can at least take one hit from just about anything. What are these? Rituals. We'll just go ahead and pick up this chest. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I felt the same way. It's so hard to do that renown grind, man. Get it, and you know, you think it's the echoes of Lilith. To me, it's getting the Paragon points, man. You got to do like multiple things, multiple quests, multiple dungeons, and they've made it better since the release of the game. Obviously, they made it a lot better, but oh my god, it's still so painful. It's awful. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Also, something I wish they would do already is unlock all the waypoints, man. That's one of the most frustrating things to me, too, is the fact that every time you make a new character, all of your waypoints are locked and your strongholds aren't completed. I wish that once you did it one time for the start of the season, all your waypoints were unlocked for every character you made and all your strongholds were done. Because there are a couple really key waypoints, like really nice waypoints, that you can only get once you unlock the stronghold. And there is a couple nice dungeons, like Flooded Depths, that you have to do a stronghold for. So it would be nice if they would kind of get rid of that busy work. I don't even unlock my strongholds anymore. I just stop doing it for every character. Especially in hardcore, just because you die, you lose your character, you have to make it over again, you have to unlock everything all over again. It's like, what a waste of time. There's no real value in it. I hope at some point they make value in doing your strongholds. I hope they add, like, maybe a buff to your character, or give you, like, you know, something from doing strongholds, like maybe give you more gold or some kind of resource gain. Something would be kind of cool for strongholds, but they definitely need to do something with strongholds. Once I get the 250 for the chest, I'll swap over to my other character, and then we'll get 70 on that character, and then we will do softcore. Let's go over here and pick up that chest. It's way out of the way. I have to configure the Paragon board for this overpower setup. I gotta get it optimized. Just not sure how I want to do it just yet. I know what boards I want. I think I'm pretty certain on what glyphs I want to use. I will say this season, I'm so happy with the glyph XP. I wish they would leave the glyph XP just like it is. I know we have this seasonal journey, but this is like the first time I've ever reached level 100 and had all of my glyphs ready to go, and I was happy to do it. Like, I wasn't like bored out of my mind grinding over and over and over again the same nightmare dungeon. Alrighty. Want to see if there's anything cool yet for our poor Druid here. This is so disrespectful, man. How do they give us rat face Druid? How do they do this to us? They give us a rat face Druid. They give us a Druid with grapes. And then we have to look at the Barbarian getting like this crazy looking bull cosmetic, heavy metal demon cosmetic. The Necro over here with this cool looking jackal cosmetic, looking like Anubis. Even the rogue has a wolf themed cosmetic right here, and we get grapes and spiders. Not that one. This one's pretty cool. Like Hellraiser. We get grapes and we get rats. That's interesting to me. What about a Druid makes you think rats? I'm not sure. It's just so funny that they've done that. I can't stand it. Okay. Go ahead and use our Holy Bolt Elixir 2. Conclave Old Stone. Man, I have some really bad ones. We'll do that, and we will go ahead and pick up an elixir. What weapons do I have? Yeah, I have some decent stuff. Not an elixir, but a few incense. We'll make like 10 of these. Man, people coming to the game now have no idea how good it is. Like the elixir system, incense, and everything is so good now. Little things like that make a world of difference. Make sure I have all my stuff set up right. Yeah, okay, good. I gotta get a Tempest Roar. I have a bunch of them, but... Oh, I forgot to get Metamorphosis. Most people run this stuff with a Godslayer. I like the Tempest Roar, just to keep it kind of in the theme of the werewolf. Plus, it's easy to get your Digigrade Gate to stay on and do your shape-shifting. And it's really helpful in the early game until you get enough cooldown to constantly reset your debilitating roar. Because you can use the Zenith Ring. Just love Digigrade Gate, man.
It is locked.
Oh, I forgot I didn't get the Warden back here. I didn't even see this guy. Wasn't paying attention. This is a really cool elixir. I kind of like the... I know it's bugged on certain things, like minions or whatever, but it is a pretty cool little elixir that they have. It's a neat way of adding some stuff to the game. I wonder what they're going to bring back from Season 3. That's something I'm really interested in. I can't imagine it's going to be too easy. Oh yeah, bro, I've been doing it like this, man. This is what I usually do for hard. What I do is I do my first capstone at 35, and then or 36, 35, 36, 40, anywhere between 35 and 40. And then I do my second capstone at 45 to 50. And then from there, I just go right into doing Nightmare Dungeons. It usually works out pretty well. Like, I can usually build enough tankiness. If I feel like I'm not tanky enough, if I've had, like, bad luck with gear and stuff on my way to, doing the, doing tier 4, what I'll do is I'll just do the overworld content until I get one Tree of Whispers, and that way I can get a decent, you know, some decent gear out of one of the caches, and then that should hold me over. But really, once you get the gear, the ancestral gear, you should be okay. Just temper HP, and typically you'll be pretty good in terms of survivability. But I think the key really is using any build that gives you Ursine Strength, like being able to proc your Ursine Strength health bonus while being in Werebear form. Because that 20% is freaking ridiculous, man. It just keeps you up so much. And the amount of HP that you can get with that 20%, you know, it's just absurd. And you end up keeping the bonus for about 4 seconds, I want to say. So, like, if you shift from Werebear into Werewolf, like what I just did there, like, or into human form, you end up keeping the buff, the HP buff, for about 4 seconds. So your effective health pool still stays with that 20% increase. So it's really useful once you start getting closer to the end game, where you can reset your debilitating roar either with Zenith Ring or preferably with Hectic, because you're always able to keep up that 20% HP bonus. And that's really what gives you that tankiness, man. High amounts of HP. And obviously, like, I try to grab as much damage reduction as I can through my Paragon board and stuff, but depending on what build you're running, it's always it's a lot harder to do. Like this build, it's hard to get as much damage reduction as, say, something like what I'm running on my other one with Overpower. It's also harder to find that balance of, like, what's good for doing, like, top-tier content, like bosses, like Tormented bosses. Especially because it's hard to actually practice Tormented bosses inside of Hardcore. That's another reason why I decided to go ahead and make a softcore character, not just because, you know, some builds are just really annoying to try to run through Hardcore. Even if you do get HP, if you're not using Ursine Strength, that HP still doesn't feel as good when you get that extra 20%. But it's like, it's already hard getting Stygian stones, and then to have a Stygian stone and not be able to actually practice the bosses. Because it's like, if you get 2 stacks of that debuff, man, you pretty much have to scroll of escape out. And I haven't really had an opportunity outside of knowing the Lilith fight, but that one doesn't really interest me because I've killed Lilith so many times in the past. With any build, really, like, not just like overpower builds, but like off-meta builds and actually dealing with the mechanics. So Lilith isn't quite as exciting. Although I will say, like, I like how tough she is this season. I like how much HP she has this season. So that's kind of nice. Gives you an opportunity to really go in there. But at the end of the day, like, fighting Lilith with off-meta builds because of the amount of HP that she has is a lot more difficult because of just how wacky some of the hitboxes on her attacks are. Hey, what's up, Zim? No, I don't have anyone to power level me, unfortunately. Yeah, I do not have any power level. I don't really care, though. It's so easy to level. But it's all good. It's hard to find people in Hardcore anyway. I usually do... I was doing strictly solo self-found before Season 3. But I had such a fun time playing with viewers and stuff that I was like, I can't ever go back to playing by myself. So I always tell people, like, if you're interested and you want to join in the game, you know, you're always more than welcome to. All my stuff is down in the description. You don't have to be a sub or anything. Well, it's going to be happening soon, Willow. Tuesday. Don't forget about that. And not just Tuesday are you going to get that. Also remember that they're giving, I guess they're giving away the, they're giving everybody a Resplendent Spark who have completed Lilith in the past. So if you're missing a Resplendent Spark for your, for an Uber Unique, don't forget about that. But yeah, they're going to be fixing Dolmen Stone. I expect that build to go absolutely crazy. Try it out with everything, you know. Obviously, double cast boulders. Try it out with Nature's Furies. Try it out with, you know, now that we have all this resource cost reduction and resource generation. Try it out with anything and everything. Like, I think at the end of the day, though, a solid... and with all the hurricane damage, that you can pick up from the Thunderstruck node. So I think honestly, at the end of the day, it would probably still be worth running Nature's Fury with it, because you're going to get so much out of it in terms of like tornado procs, hurricane, all the stuff that you'll get from utilizing the Thunderstruck node. You might see a lot of really popular builds running Nature's Fury. But I also still suspect that you're going to see a lot of crit builds too, because of how easy it is to get crit now. There's so many ways you could probably build a Boulder Cane setup. I like to make a Werebear one every season, even though it's not the meta. Usually you want to make something like Werewolf or something like that. But I like to do it with Werebear. But yeah, I feel like that build is going to be pretty solid. Hurricane already hits like a truck. I'm thinking that there might be a little bit of a bug with Hurricane still, considering of how bugged it was on the PTR. I mean, I think the damage that it does is a little bit excessive. I could be wrong. It could be working as it's intended to work, but I feel like hitting 100 mil ticks is a bit crazy compared to anything the Druid does. Just like with Wind Shear, I feel like there's a weird bug with Wind Shear. I don't know why the poison would stack up so high, hitting like crazy, you know, tens of millions of damage compared to anything else that we have. But it's there. Like, might as well play around with it, right? Yeah, it's the calm breeze aspect. The way they changed it, it gives a ton of poison damage, and that poison damage seems to stack. I'm thinking that it stacks too based on like enemy HP or something. I don't know. It seems crazy, but you can stack it to some ludicrous amounts of damage. Like, it's stupid. And you can push some pretty high tiers of pit because you can stack a ton of HP on top of it without sacrificing damage. In fact, it's probably, if I can be honest about it, even though I'm not necessarily a big fan of this basic skill, I much more prefer like Stormclaw. I still love the fact that this build does not require you to use companions, unlike every other stinking Druid build. I'm so tired of always running companions. I hate the Shepherd's aspect. It destroys build creativity for the class. Every single build has to have companions, regardless if you're running companions to actually do damage. So I do appreciate the fact that this build actually doesn't need companions. It makes it so much more fun because you can utilize different aspects of the class. And that's what I really wish they would do for the class in like maybe Season 5, is just destroy the Shepherd's aspect, get it out, buff the skills appropriately, make our skills better like they're supposed to be, and make Earth skills better, and make it where we can use more than just, you know, filling half of our bar up with companion skills. I mean, we only have 6 freaking slots, and we have to always fill them up with companions. Yeah, it seems to be bugged. So what seems to be occurring is that every time you summon a Landslide Pillar, it will also it has a chance to proc Nature's Fury, something like that. Which honestly is still not really that. It's funny because it's not like it makes it that. Whoa, what happened there? It's not like it even makes it overpowered. It just brings it in line with other already good storm skills. So it's like people are like excited about it, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm making a build for it. Like I said, I've been making a build for it for a couple days now. I just lost my Landslide character. But it really only just utilizes the damn storm skills again. It's like because of how powerful Thunderstruck node is, being uncapped multiplier, which is absolutely absurd. But it's literally our only real, you know, damage dealing. You know, it's the best node we have. You know, because of that, you're running Nature's Fury with a Earth skill build. It's like you're doing you want to run Earth skills, but they are so bad that you are forced to run Storm skills. It's kind of funny. And the fact that the good thing is you can double dip on your nodes, so you get like Earth and Devastation, so you get the crit damage multiplier, and you also get the multiplicative damage bonus from the Thunderstruck node. So that's nice, because they count as both Storm and Earth skills. Yeah, I don't think there's zero freedom. I just think that the problem, it's not that there's zero freedom. It's just that the builds that are, you know, every season, right? You expect there to be like one or two builds that are like shining compared to the other builds. The problem currently is that the difference between the builds is so exceptionally high. It's like Barbarian, for example. Every season, Barbarian is head and shoulders above every class, right? I know this season they gave Necromancer minions. I'm not sure how many builds outside of minions can do what Barbarian does, but every single season, Barbarian is incredibly powerful. And typically, it's not a big deal, right? Maybe one class might be marginally more powerful than all the other classes to some, you know, to a degree that's noticeable, but it's not ridiculous. But every season, Barbarian has been exceptionally overpowered. And that's, I think, the biggest issue with balancing in the game. I think it's like, it's fun, it's really cool, but they really haven't made a solid attempt at balancing, not perfectly, but creating a game where, yes, there are builds that are better than other builds, but they're not so much better that it's the difference between completing content and not completing content. It's like there are builds like Earthskill builds take so much more effort to clear bosses, right? To clear tormented bosses. And they'll never even come close to reaching like high tier pit levels unless you're running Nature's Fury to supplement that damage. Yeah, I love that, man. I love, you know how I am, Greg. I love stuff like that. I love off meta stuff. I love thematic builds. Most of the time there's no real reason to do the most damage. I mean, honestly, what's even the pit, like if you run pit enough, no matter whether you're running in tier 60, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, most of the mechanics are pretty similar. The only thing that changes is the amount of damage that you receive from the bosses and the amount of damage you have to deal to the enemies. It's just like AoZ, right? AoZ wasn't really that crazy. If you beat tier 1 AoZ, you beat tier 25. It's just tier 25 had like insane amounts of HP on all the enemies. So I don't necessarily know why it's that, it's that big of a deal. I think this season it's probably a little bit different because you have tormented bosses, and they really are the most efficient way to, get your uber uniques. So you want builds that will kill those bosses, and you don't want to have to spend like a half hour inside the boss fight. So I don't know. I said earlier, actually made an X post about it. I was like, if you're not going to balance the game, like, can you just give every single class 2 one-hand weapon slots and 2 two-hand weapon slots? I feel like that's the only way. If they're not going to nerf Barbarian and actually balance the game around like an appropriate power level, like, just give every single class 2 one-hand weapon slots and 2 two-hand weapon slots. That way we all have the aspects, we all have all of the stats, we all have... Because I just don't see any other way to do it. Like, how are you going to buff up Druid, for instance? Like, what are you going to do? Make the Spirit Boons give you, like, ridiculous damage modifiers? Like, give you insane amounts of HP? Like, you're not going to be able to do that. Or you could, but it would just be kind of ridiculous. So it's always something I'm like I said, you don't have to have perfect balance in these games, but at some point they're going to have to think about, like, or maybe they won't, but at some point they'll have to think about, like, for instance, Earth skills. It's a great example, right? So Storm skills have Thunderstruck Node. Thunderstruck Node is really powerful because it's an uncapped damage multiplier that scales off of your damage to close versus damage to distant enemies. And obviously that's incredibly strong. Not only does it scale off of damage buckets that are effective against all forms of creatures, including bosses, but then you're getting this crazy uncapped damage multiplier that's absolutely absurd. Well, when you look at Earth skills have Earth and Devastation. which is a crit damage multiplier, already making it worse than a normal multiplier, right? Because crit damage multipliers, you have to stack out crit damage to actually get any benefit from them. And there are not really a lot of affix slots that, you know, you're typically looking for like max health or willpower. And, you know, you're going to have to sacrifice something to pick up that crit damage. So it's already worse than, you know, Thunderstruck node right away. But then on top of that, it only scales off of damage to crowd control enemies. Okay, well, damage to crowd control enemies damage bucket won't affect bosses unless you stagger them, which is very uncommon to stagger bosses unless you're running Landslide. Landslide, you can get some staggers off pretty easily, but most other builds, you're not getting those staggers off on the boss that fast. So it's pretty useless overall in terms of damage output on bosses. And then it's capped. It's capped at 40%. Now, why they would cap a far less effective damage modifier like crit damage modification and not cap a straight damage modifier like multiplier like Thunderstruck, I have no idea. But they capped it. They capped it at 40%. So it's like already Earth skills are exceptionally worse. Like way worse than anything you could get with a Storm skill. Now, on top of that, Earth skills, and this is just from my own experience, and sorry guys if I'm kind of talking a lot, but just kind of going around and thinking about the way the game functions with Earth skills. So Earth skills, if in my experience, they're just really they're really wishy-washy. They're really inconsistent on the damage, right? Like, if I use a Storm skill and I hit an enemy with like Tornado or Lightning Storm, it seems like I always hit that enemy, no matter what. Anything that's not ground targeted. But if I'm using Landslide or if I'm using Pulverize with Shockwave, it literally seems like sometimes you completely miss the enemy. Like, all of your damage is just gone. It doesn't even do anything. And I'm not sure if that has to do with like the... I'm not sure if that has to actually do with the hitbox and the way it's actually... you know, the way it's set up, but I've noticed that a lot. Oh yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what builds can kind of top it out at the pit. But what I've noticed is that most builds that top out at the pit are typically like something like this, which seems bugged. For the Druid at least, or even for the Barbarian, you know, the Barbarian's getting some kind of crazy multiplier. And the problem I see with that is that most people, when they see stuff like that, creates like a false idea of how powerful a class is. So for instance, like Poison Shred Druid or Innate Bulwark Druid, when people look at that, they're like, oh yeah, Druid's perfectly fine. That's, you know, look how much damage it is. But it's like, bro, that's a bug. It's not an intended mechanic. So once you lose that mechanic, you lose all that damage, but you're stuck with your old class, you know, not really doing what it should be doing. On the 45 pit, yeah. Yeah, the pit's kind of interesting. It's an interesting idea. I definitely like it more like than AOZ. I love the bosses. I just think that, I don't know. One-shot mechanics are, I think well-telegraphed one-shot mechanics are perfectly fine. But I still think that the Uber Lilith, they don't really telegraph Uber Lilith well enough. Now, for me, it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, you know, it doesn't bother me to die. And I died the other day on that Landslide build. But you know, I still feel like those Uber Lilith mechanics can be a bit unforgiving. Like, I think I've seen Wadijo die the other day on his rogue. Like, he has, okay, if Wadijo has one hardcore character left and that's it at this point in time in the season, he only has one hardcore character. I mean, come on now. I mean, the dude is like one of the best mechanically at Diablo. He clearly is a high skilled player at the game. The man is dying. He's died multiple times, which isn't bad. I'm not saying it's, you know, I just think that for the Uber Lilith mechanic in those fights, it just seems a bit off. It just really seems a bit off. And I was actually hoping that hardcore would be more popular this season, but I think because of how the game is structured around the pit and tormented bosses, it's just not quite as popular. And it definitely pigeonholes you into very specific builds if you plan on pushing any high tier content. You definitely have to use stuff like what I'm using right now. Because anything else will just put you at a high risk for losing your character. Even me doing this right now still puts me at a significant risk, but it's not nearly as high as if I was running something that didn't utilize like Ursine Strength, Debilitating Roar. Barriers are completely useless this season, unfortunately. I feel like they're going to have to buff the heck out of Earth and Bulwark. They're going to have to buff up so many things. There's just so many skills now that are really bad, that were really good before, but just, they don't do enough. I keep forgetting to grab Metamorphosis on my boots. Also feel like they need to give more skills Unstoppable. Like Debilitating Roar might need Unstoppable, stuff like that, just because, I mean, there's just, you're pretty much, you have to use, I feel like I have to use Metamorphosis. I feel like without Metamorphosis, I run that basically on every single build. Without Metamorphosis, I will not make it. I will eventually get stun locked. And I would like to see them do some stuff with Grizzly Rage, because that ultimate has fell off too pretty hard. Especially with like the clarity buff now, like you not being able to utilize other skills while you're in dire bear form is kind of sad. Yeah, that's basically how it goes. If you don't want to die, you have to stick to what you're comfortable with. Like you definitely can't force anything. Like you will die. Even me, like I'll die if I force anything. And I know when I'm doing it. Like I know when I'm scaling myself, if I'm scaling my character too fast into higher content, because I'll stop killing things fast enough. And usually that's the best way to. It's like indirect damage reduction. Killing the enemies faster means you don't take damage. And that's, if you're not killing them faster, then that's when you're really kind of like dodging too many mechanics, and you'll eventually like end up screwing yourself over. So I always say, like, you know, obviously, you know, you want to make sure that you have enough HP. But in the early game, you definitely want to make sure your damage is up there. Throw those damage temperings into your weapons and stuff, into your gear pieces, because that in itself will make you feel a heck of a lot tankier, just because you're not worried about enemy mechanics as much. I didn't mean to hit that one. I wish too that they would reduce the level of your pre-farmed gear. I thought they were actually going to do that this season. I thought your pre-farmed gear on another character would actually be at level 55, but it's still level 80. And some are at level 90, which is super weird. I wish it was 55. It'd be nice if you could pre-farm a bunch of gear and like equip it at level 55 on a different character. Nice. Now this is where I need to have a Holy Bolt Elixir on. I have one. I don't want to waste it though. I'm so glad that those ballistas don't like tear you to pieces now. Those things used to be crazy. Oh, that would be pretty cool. See, I don't want them to do that with Shred, to be honest. The problem, see, I said this before, right? With when you end up turning Shred into a storm skill, you're just amplifying the problem. Like, Shred should not have to be a storm skill. It should work really well without being a storm skill. Everything is going to be funneled into being a storm skill, and that to me really isn't where you should be looking for, you know, creativity to end up. Things should be viable without the need of running. Where in the world is the oh my god, he's all the way over here, I bet. I think what they need to balance out the skills appropriately. Like, not having some form, like not having Shepherd, like, what am I trying to say? So Shepherds is creating too much need to run your companions. Thunderstruck is making everybody want to run storm skills. If they would balance out the skills appropriately, and they would balance out the passives and the different nodes appropriately, then you could have a Shred that actually functions really well without needing to be a storm skill. I think that at the end of the day is going to make a class. Is it bugged out? Like, where's the? I think it's like that is at the end of the day is going to make a class that, like the Druid, that should be really high in like creativity with all the different aspects of it. Werewolf, werebear, tornadoes, earth skills, all that, lightning. You're going to take it and it's just going to be completely, you know, pigeonholed into one specific way of building it every single time. Pick up the Thunderstruck node, throw companions on your build. Bam, that's all you do. Pick up the Thunderstruck node, throw companions on, earth skills, nature's fury. It's like, that to me, that's... I hate that, bro. I hate that. I would much rather have a really well-balanced set of core skills that actually function appropriately than everything need to have the Thunderstruck node because, well, it's just so powerful. Just kills build creativity. Like the season... I think my son is torturing my wife. The season already feels kind of bland for Druid just because there really wasn't much of a shakeup, or at least one that people were actually asking for. I don't know who wants to play Hurricane. It's like, who really wants to play that? I know there are probably some people out there, but I think the majority of people would probably agree, like, that's not really a fun build to play. A Wind Shear's nice as a basic skill build, but even this is a bit, you know, on the boring side. It's not terrible because I like the idea of having strong basic skills, but I most certainly expect this build to not exist in Season 5. I definitely think there's a bug. It scales way too high for poison damage. So I do expect that this will not last forever. But at some point, you know, they're going to have to, I don't know. I'd love for Season 5 to be a really well-balanced season, like not perfectly obviously, and for them to really take a look at the Druid and make some substantial changes and really shake the class up, man. I'd love for the class to just feel much more creative, like just have a lot more options for people. Even the companion build, man, it's like, okay, it's not really a companion build, you just build wolves. Okay, well, what about Poison Creeper? What about Ravens? Still one of the worst skills in the game. Ravens is absolutely atrocious. They buffed it about 75 times. It's still terrible. Like, most people are just building wolves and using the Holy Bolt Elixir and getting some crazy bug damage or something like that. It's like, that's not... I don't know. To me, that's not cool. But it is what it is. Oh, I agree. Like, I agree thematically, you could definitely make that, you know, distinction, like, you know, werewolf and lightning, or, you know, werebear and earth. I definitely can understand that. I would just not want that to be the only way to build Shred. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be multiple variations of Shred, each of them working pretty well, and one of them will probably be the best, but the other versions should at least be comparable to some degree, right? You should at least be able to make an argument, okay, well, this version of Shred, as long as your build has some cohesiveness and it's not just a bunch of random stuff you put together and you're like, well, I want to play the way I want. It's like, okay, but I mean, realistically, let's be honest, like, your build looks crazy. But yeah, I mean, as long as other variations of Shred can be usable, but again, like, I don't know how you would do that. You would basically have to make multiple... You'd have to make multiple legendary nodes that gave you a multiplicative damage bonus that was uncapped. And then you... That's it. So basically what happens is, right, is every single skill that is really successful this season has a double cast affix. So what's the idea? Go ahead and give everything a double cast affix. Okay. So then every single skill that's powerful this season also uses Thunderstruck node. So what do we have to do? Well, then I guess we're going to have to give every single node a damage multiplier that stacks infinitely. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, now we're just making the same thing over and over again instead of providing actual balance to the class and making sure things are working appropriately, and that, you know, maybe there are one or two builds that shine, but they're not it's not a ridiculous amount like over the top of other builds. It's like the difference between Wind Shear and the difference between Hurricane or something, and the difference between running like a standard I would say like a standard Landslide build that doesn't utilize Nature's Fury is far it's just far and above, you know, anything that Earth skills can do. It's just way too powerful comparatively. I mean, look at Pulverize. Jesus, Pulverize, you turn it to an Earth skill. It has a huge multiplier with Shockwave. It has a, and then you can stack Shepherds on top of that, and and it still won't hit like, it still doesn't hit anywhere close to something like a Wind Shear. And not only is Wind Shear hitting ridiculously hard, but it's also super easy to build. You don't need any unique items. You don't need any uber uniques. It doesn't really benefit from anything. And it just makes it where, you know, Earth skills just look like they don't do anything. So, I don't know. It is what it is. I can't control it. I'll just continue to make videos about the Druid class. And hopefully one day I'll be able to talk to one of the developers or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe be able to talk to Adam and see what he thinks, what their whole idea behind the Druid is. I highly doubt it, though. Maybe, though. Right? I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, why not? If you're not going to balance the game, why take away the Why would you fix the poison shred bug? Why fix blurred beast? Like, don't fix blurred beast. Like, don't take away all the druid bugs, but leave all the bugs with the other classes, or you know, just leave our bugs alone. Like, leave us alone with our innate bulwark spamming. Leave us alone with the poison. I'm not necessarily. I would prefer them to fix things, but if you're not gonna balance things, like, just stop taking our stuff away. Let us have our fun too, right? I mean, if that's how they see it, I would rather them not fix it then. Which is not really a good idea, because then you're just going to turn the game into a hot broken mess. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like people want it to not be. Seems like people want buffs, and to me it's like, okay, well, if you keep buffing stuff, you're just destroying content. It's like this season, all the Uber bosses, nightmare dungeons, everything is just garbage content now. It doesn't do anything. You're basically just running to the pit or tormented bosses. And, you know, some classes like Barbarian, they just run to the pit. Tormented bosses are a breeze. They just bash them to death with a basic attack. Yeah, exactly. Why do they have bugs? We want bugs. Give us more bugs. Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm running Storm. I hate this dungeon anyway. Not a big fan of it. Where am I at? Yeah. I'll reconfigure this Paragon board anyway, later on. What do we want to put here? Not Bane. We'll put, let's put Outmatch, maybe. Oh, what's down here? We'll put Outmatch here. I think I have Outmatch here. And then we'll put Earth and Sky here. Not forever, but just for right now. Is it magic nodes? Hold on a second, guys. Be right back. Alrighty. Let's clear this stuff out and then hop into another one. Let's see if there's anything I can... Go ahead and use that. I'm thinking I'll use an axe. I'm thinking about using an axe. Shatter resistance, come on now. Movement speed, willpower, max life. We'll keep this one. Max life.
I can break that down.
I don't want dodge chance. Give me max life. Come on now. No, I don't want armor. There we go. Man, what I would do if they would put some attack speed in the utility slot would be so nice. Giving us some attack speed there would make a world of difference in terms of what you could build out on your characters. We'll go work our way up constricting tendrils here. I'll make sure my yeah, it's it doesn't man, when you get into tier 4, man, it don't take much. And I had to step away myself. I had to step away for a second. Let's go hectic. Keep the wolf companions. Let's go undying. Good, good, good. Okay. Let's make some gems, man. I don't want to just buff up my health a little bit more. Just some low tier. Yo, I love the change they made to gems too this season. They are so much better. Talk about it. This is one change that I'll say that not a lot of people talk about, but this is a huge difference in how you approach the game. Just insane the way they did the gems. Love it. Absolutely love it. Doomsayer, demonic structures. How much time? 34 minutes. I think we can hit these in 34 minutes. Go Holy Bolt. Bang, bang. Grab that. Let's hit the Helltide. So Cinders and Doomsayers. And then we'll get 70 here, and then we'll jump onto our Softcore for the rest of the stream. Because I want to get my Landslide build done. I'm so far behind this season. So far behind. I think my child has lost his mind. I'm fairly certain he has. He's definitely on another level tonight. He should be in bed, but I think he has different plans. Oh. You gotta love that slow jump in the air. Really maximizing the drama. Babe. I tell you, some people can do this 1 to 100 in like 8 hours. I've seen people do it. I don't know how they do that. I want to know how they're hitting like 1 to 100, and they're probably not doing Helltides and stuff. I know they're probably just like grinding nightmare dungeons, but that's just crazy to me. Like 1 to 100 in like 8 hours. I don't know how they're like getting that much efficiency. Usually it takes me like, I'll probably say like 12 or 13 hours of not continuous. Obviously I'll step away. I don't know, maybe I could hit 8 hours if I was like going super hard. I just haven't really I don't know, I haven't really, I guess, sat down and tried to do it. Did I get both Doomsayers? Ooh. I seem to get a lot more distilled fear than I do any other material. I get a ton of those. Not just because I do nightmare dungeons, but something I wish they would do is I wish they would remove the mats for Varshan and just make it require Malignant Hearts. I'm not sure why that Varshan should require like 4 different summoning materials. I wish they would just bring it down to just Malignant Hearts. And then just buff up the amount of Malignant Hearts you can get. But overall, just you're getting less Varshan mats because you're not having to use 4 different materials. Stats for the boulder build. Now that is a good question. So I guess it would depend on how you're going to build it. If you're going to try the Nature's Fury route, you'd probably obviously want to go damage to close enemies. I don't think you'd want to run damage to distant. I think your overall damage output would suffer because you'd have a no... You'd basically be losing that additive damage. Even though you do get some multiplier, I have noticed a significant drop in my damage if I just go ahead and stack out damage to distance. So if you're using a Nature's Fury build, I would say go damage to close enemies and just kind of focus on that. And then obviously your utility slots, just build out as many lucky hit. The thing is like boulders, even though boulder has like a super low lucky hit chance, hurricane has a much higher chance, and you can get a lot of boulders going. So when you build out boulder with that utility and the lucky hit to stun or lucky hit to freeze, you're actually going to get that to proc quite a lot. So you're probably going to see something along the lines of what you get with Landslide, where you can build up the boss stagger bar like really, really fast. So definitely if you're going Nature's Fury or something, go damage to close enemies. If you're not going that route, there's one or two ways you could probably build it. So you could either go for, like, obviously you're going double cast boulder, and then you're grabbing up boulder damage, because the actual modifier, the actual affix for boulders, for boulder damage is quite high in the earth skill, aspect affix tree for tempering. Or you could run a crit based build and do something like grabbing up a bunch of earth skill crit damage and then just scaling out your crit damage to like 100% crit chance, and then just hitting a high amounts of crit damage. Either way, I think would be a pretty decent setup. But I think just giving the current meta, if you wanted to build the best variation, it would probably be a Nature's Fury setup with like damage to close enemies, giving you that big Thunderstruck multiplier, and then getting a ton of free cast skills off of spamming boulder and having hurricane hitting pretty decently hard, and still getting a decent amount of damage out of your boulders also. So I think that would probably be the best way to build it if you're looking for the most optimal in terms of damage output and scaling into high tier pit levels, would be doing a Nature's Fury route. And then anything after that would be just, you know, running probably something like Bestial Rampage, and then going for just direct boulder damage. I'll probably make a build, but I probably won't be the first. There's going to be plenty of people making tons of builds really fast. Probably people who've already had the gear saved up. So, but I will eventually make one. I'll have the ability to have a lot more time I can invest now. Yeah, it's just so powerful. Like, you can just imagine all the tornadoes you're going to get, all the lightning storm procs you're going to get, plus your boulders still going to be hitting relatively hard, even with the fact that you're looking for more damage output from your storm skills. Like, you're still going to have a ton of damage output, and you're going to be getting all of those free skill procs. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to definitely take over Tornado. You'll just have to play it a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to play. And building into it might take a little bit more time.
I need more time.
I'll look at all that stuff later. Let's go over here. I think it's over here.
I need time to do that.
Where the Yeah, I think it's somewhere over here where the Blood Maiden event is. But yeah, for your skill bar, you're still going to probably build out shepherds, right? You're going to have, for your skills, you're going to have Boulder on there. You're going to have the 3 companion skills. You're probably still going to be running Debilitating Roar, because that's going to be the only real way to stay alive this season, is having Debilitating Roar and having it off cooldown all the time, which you should be able to do. You should be able to get that set up right. And then after that, it's whatever, you know, whatever you want to use. Do you want to use Shred to close as a gap closer? Do you want to, you know, run something like a Werebear setup? It's really, you know, after that, it's pretty much the same build as it was previously. You're just getting double cast Boulder. Not Bestial Rampage, Nature Savagery aspect. That's what I meant to say. That way you're getting Boulder procs too off of your Nature's Fury. The only thing, I mean, you're going to probably tear through bosses. That's the one thing I'll say. You'll probably blow bosses up really fast. The only thing that you'll have to worry about, again, is like always, just suppressor enemies. Suppressor enemies, wallers, all that stupid stuff. All that stuff that just destroys your boulders in a heartbeat. But it should be a little bit more bearable because of how powerful Hurricane is. Hurricane makes a big difference now. I wonder if it would even be worth running some kind of Hurricane duration, like running 2 one-handers and running like Hurricane duration and then running something and then running double cast. Even though you might get less double cast boulders, it might, I don't know. Probably a terrible idea. You're probably still going to want to run a 2-hand weapon and just go for double cast boulders. But it would be interesting to see if someone was to put together like a 1-hand axe and totem build and then make some kind of like duration increase on Hurricane, where Hurricane's hitting really hard, but then also having like really powerful boulders, stuff like that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. It just doesn't seem like it's worth running any totem yet. Like, you just get so much bonus off of running a 2-hander. I don't see many people running any 2-hand, like 1-hand axe and totem. Later, brother. Have a good night. What is going on? Why can I not move? I was like, I couldn't move side to side. I could only move horizontal. I should say up and down. Run out of my potion. I did. Let's use the armor potion. Sork has easily the coolest looking skills in the game. Hands down. That fire serpent that wraps enemies is so dope. Dang, I already fill up my inventory that fast, so.
I need more time. I need more time.
Go open up the other chest and then go up to the top. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Looks like a lighthouse. It's the Eye of Sauron over here. Got some drifter's pants. Ay. Think I'll kill her and then run off and do something else. Let's get the items. Oh, nice. Go get that chest all the way over here, of course. Good lord. All the way over there.
I must wait a minute.
What I would do for infinite sprint on my horse, man. I would love to have that back from season 2. I think the best bonuses for the season would be like infinite sprint on the horse, the big glyph XP increase that we get, the elixir uptime, that would be nice too. That'd probably be the third best seasonal bonus. And then anything after that I don't care about. Season 2 had some really good seasonal bonuses. I like how in Season 3 they gave us like shrine buff duration and made the gauntlet like full of shrines and stuff, and then in Season 4 they just completely removed shrine buff duration from the game. That was pretty funny. It's like you have this whole season around shrines and then you just scratch it. We're going a different direction from that. Get rid of shrine buff duration. I think I need to go through my gear. Just toss out anything that's not a... Toss out anything that's not a greater affix. Now we just need like a sell all button. Alright. Dang, I didn't know I had all these potions on the ground. I'm happy they changed that back, man. It was so nice to get like early elixirs, and then they changed the drop rate on them and made it where you could barely get any of them early on in season 3. So I'm happy we can actually get a decent amount of elixir drops just from killing stuff. I just like this whole system altogether. It feels so much better now. The elixirs add like really powerful game-changing buffs to your character. Now the only thing I'd like them to do is bring like a similar, I guess have like some kind of potion system where we could choose like a buff from our potions. That'd be kind of cool if we had something like that. Get a couple of good treasure goblins here and there. I've yet to get any uber unique out of doing like bossing yet. Any kind of like boss outside of uber duriel or any uber unique as a drop. I'm kind of like stuck as to whether I want to have Shaco first or if I'd rather have Ring of Starless Skies. I'm not sure which one would be the best for the builds I want to make in hardcore. Softcore, probably Ring of Starless Sky. I don't know. Shaco's so good. All those skill ranks are really valuable this season. It's always nice when you get items out of these Doomsayers. Oh, I didn't even notice my bar went off. What is the lucky hit chance on... What's the lucky hit chance? 21%? What is this? Demonic structures. And I gotta watch the time. I have a bad habit when I'm streaming of not watching the time. And I end up losing a ton of cinders all the time while I stream. Just talking. Oh yeah, that's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. I'm excited to try that unique out. It's pretty cool. It's probably one of the most powerful defensive uniques that we have, because it breaks resistance caps, and resistance caps, like most of the in-game damage you take is always elemental damage, and breaking resistance caps is ridiculously powerful. Like that's one of the most interesting uber uniques, I think, in the game right now. Anything that's going to break resistance caps is going to be really strong for survivability. It even makes Tacits of the Dawning Sky, if they weren't so bad with the affixes they have on them, they'd be much more useful. I feel like they need to overhaul a lot of uniques, even uber uniques, like with some of the affixes that are available. What's this? What doomsayers? Let's go get the chests at least. Hey, we got a doomsayer. Nice. A lucky doomsayer. I don't know if I want to do, no, I'll just bypass that. I kind of just want to finish up what I'm doing and get back into doing nightmares for the last level. Although Helltides are a lot of fun, I will say. There is something about Helltides this season. All the changes that they made, I have not gotten tired of doing Helltides. Last season, I found them to be boring rather quickly. This season, I haven't really found them to be too boring. I feel like, in fact, I could probably level it strictly in Helltides and have much more fun than doing Nightmare Dungeons. I actually feel like just because Nightmare Dungeons haven't really changed, they are just the same thing I've ran for the past year now, so it's like they're not as fun. I hope they do something to shake them up a little bit. Maybe add some cool stuff into the dungeon, different like timed event. I don't know, just something to kind of shake up the Nightmare Dungeons, because they do feel a little bit bland now, especially with everything else getting some cool stuff, you know. It's like you have to run them, but you don't want to. And Helltide feels like you want to be in Helltide all the time. It's like it just feels good to sit here and farm enemies and stuff. Oh, I got an X-Fall. It's a crappy X-Fall. Oh, let me go to the vendor this. I think I'll vendor these ones this time. And then next time I will, I probably have some good legendaries there. I just don't feel like looking through the gear right now. Okay, y'all done up there? Holy moly. Just let you guys have it. Oh yeah, worms. They're definitely trying to kill me right now. It's like they're hanging me up. I can't even metamorph out of these like little areas and getting hung up on like ledges and stuff. Little. those little shaman really summon a lot of enemies. Well, I mean, bring enemies back to life really fast. I don't think I ever noticed them as much as I've noticed them this season. Maybe there's more of them or something. Nice, nice. Got that Godslayer, bro. I got a really early Godslayer on my softcore character. I was having some pretty bad luck with aspects, and then bam. Yeah, those side dungeons are, they're definitely nice. You know what I wish, though? I wish they would just let us craft nightmare sigils for every dungeon, every season. Like, just let us craft the dungeons that we want to run. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then they could just tune up the ones that no one wants to run. What's up, Booger? You smell good. Mwah. Boy. Come here. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Lord. You're such a big boy. Oh, you want mommy? Looking at you. He's like, give me back. I love you. I love you. Cutie. You sleepy yet? No, you're not sleepy. You're not sleepy. I like your Stitch little onesie there, buddy. Yeah, I think that killing two birds with one stone is always welcome, right? How much time did I have left on that? I might as well go 23 seconds, never mind. Do the Sanguine Chapel. Dude, the movement speed you get, I feel like I'm playing, what's the, Galactica or something like that? A little spaceship game. I think I want to run Petrify just to knock off suppressor domes. I think I do. It's not good for the skill, but it'll knock off suppressor domes. I know I want to get Maul on here too. Once I get my Tempest Roar, I'm able to equip it. Oh yeah, give it to me. You know, I need to just go ahead and do this. Use my Holy Bolt. It's so much faster for leveling. They just all die as soon as they spawn with this. Look at that, level 70. Alright, so we got 2 hardcores at level 70 now. Now we can swap to our softcore character after this. And then we'll just level him to whatever we get to before I decide to get off here. I feel so bad for Stormclaw. It's so sad that Windshear is now better than both Stormstrike and Claw combined. It's so sad. I hate it. I love the Stormclaw build, but this is just so ridiculous. Now I wish you could do the same. You know what's funny? I bet I could do the same thing. Like, use the, oh, I bet I could. That'd be interesting, actually. I wonder how well this would work out if I ran a double cast Earth Spike with the Earth Spike modifier, right? Let me think how this will work. No, you can't do it. Never mind. That's right, because they haven't fixed the Earth Spike. So Earth Spike has one of the dumbest the dumbest aspects, I should say, to the skill that you could ever imagine. Giving it a duration cooldown by, you know, changing the skill and then giving it a duration, a 1 second duration cooldown. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Earth Spike is already not that good, and then you throw in a duration on the only thing that makes it, like a cooldown duration on the only thing that makes Earth Spike good. It would be nice if they would take that off, like just give it a flat increase and not give it a duration, especially because of how powerful this poison is. Like, this poison is ridiculous. It's like it'd be so nice to have that double cast Earth Spike and then you just scale up. Well, maybe you could do it without using that. Maybe you would just do it with a normal double cast Earth Spike, and then you just cast Earth Spike, and then you would get free procs of Wind Shear, and then maybe you could have an Earth Spike Nature's Fury build that obviously just gets all of its damage from Wind Shear. That's so funny. Just run Calm Breeze. But hey, at least you would be running Earth Spike. You might be able to do some cool werebear stuff with that. I might actually try that out. Maybe do a werebear one where you're getting a bunch of multiplicative damage as enemies start to die. It'd be interesting. Plus you get the stun. Look at the butcher, just ridiculous. Granted, I should be running higher tier than this at level 70. I only had these low tier sigils, so I just decided to run this one. Yeah, I don't know why they gave it a downside. I think they just, I don't know. I don't know if they necessarily think about things when they decide to implement them. They just probably, whoever was doing it, they probably thought it would be really powerful for some reason. And maybe they thought, like, oh, if I don't give it a cooldown, it's going to be, like, really overpowered when it just doesn't even make sense. But, I'm sure cooldown reduction affects it, but I mean, it's 1 second. Like, it would still be really clunky, right? Because you'd still be getting a small cooldown. Like, there would still be, like this small break between your casts, making it feel really awkward. So the only way to really run an Earth Spike build would be without that specifically on there, or you would have to run something like this with Earth Spike also. Like, I would just have to do this. I'd have to just swap this here, like take it off here, put this here, and then take points out of everything. And what I would do is I would probably grab, like, take this off of the wolf, get rid of that, pump points here, and then hey, you could get fortify, bang, fortify, something like this, right? And then you're just getting constant procs off of your Nature's Fury, right, for Earth Spike. And then you would just equip, like, the Earth Spike aspect, and then you would get crazy Earth Spike stuff happening. I don't know how well it would function, though. Or reverse that, you would just get double cast Earth Spike, right? And then you would just get free procs of your Wind Shear off of that. Although that would just be a really bad version of what we currently have. If you think about cooldown though, like you can only get 75% cooldown reduction, so you would still have like 0.25 seconds between your Earth Spike casts. It would be kind of annoying. You're just waiting this small period of time between Earth Spike casts. We'll do here, here. Throw what do we want to throw here? So territorial here. Pick up that. We can actually, I think we can get 25 out of territorial. Yeah, we can. Just for the heck of it, right? Right now. We'll end up changing this whole board up anyway. So we'll just do that for right now. I wonder what it would look like though. Let me sell this stuff. We'll do one more. I just want to check this out. See what it would look like. What would I have that I could give up? Let's give up, obviously, our werewolves. And we'll go for the... Where's it at? Here we go. Seismic shift. Let's see what happens here. I like Dead Man's Dredge. I really wish this would work better. I really do love the aesthetic of Earth Spike with this aspect. I think it looks so cool, like this tunneling trimmer of rocks that just like, it looks really cool, but it just doesn't really do, it just doesn't, like it looks cool though, right? Like it looks really neat. I think it's probably the coolest looking basic skill just because it flies, like it has this massive amount of rocks that fly out. It actually goes quite far too. In my opinion, see, here's the thing though, like I think the biggest issue for me is a lot of times what they'll do is they'll make aspects that basically turn the skill into something that it should have been by itself. So what this aspect for Earthspike actually does is just basically make Earthspike into a decent basic skill. Like this is how it should function without anything. It shouldn't really need like an aspect to do this. I think just changing the base skill to do this would be... And then you could make an aspect that actually does something cool, like does something that significantly impacts Earthspike in a way that would be, you know, make it possible to make some kind of Earthspike setup. But just the base skill by itself is just so bad. And that's the same thing for like every Earth skill. Just the base skill by itself is typically pretty bad. Like Boulder, absolute trash. Landslide, absolute trash. Earthspike, absolute trash. They need something to make them good. I mean, it's not like Tornado, you know what I'm saying? It's even Pulverized to some degree is really bad without having multiple aspects. But Earth skills just suffer, man. They have some bad values on them. But they look cool. I will say that. I would like to see Landslide be a little bit bigger. But even like the Earthbreaker ring, to me, like the Earthbreaker ring just turns Landslide into a decent skill, right? And if it wasn't bugged, it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be doing anything like what you can get from it right now. But imagine if it was unbugged, it would just basically make Landslide good. So for me, what that does is make it just means that Landslide needs to be what Earthbreaker ring does to it, base level. Like, that's how it should be functioning. Same thing with Lightning Storm, to be honest. That one storm skill, I think, should function exactly how the Ascetic Wraps make it work. I think Lightning Storm itself should have already functioned like the Ascetic Wraps make it function. All the Ascetic Wraps really did was make it good. But Lightning Storm still suffers pretty hard. And you can see that now, like without a double cast affix, Lightning Storm is pretty terrible. And even with the, I guess what some people would say it has one with the fact that you can use the Ascetic Wraps and get that extra lightning bolt once you crit an enemy. Yeah, it doesn't feel the same. Like it doesn't even come close to having a double cast like Tornado having a double cast. Or even Landslide now. I feel like Landslide, even without Nature's Fury, would probably still do better than Lightning Storm. Just because, again, that double cast is crazy, man. I mean, you're just doubling the damage. It's not rocket science. It just doubles the damage. It's like anytime you add a 100% damage modifier to something, it gets better. Yeah, see, I really like the way Earth Spike looks, man. I think it looks really cool. And it gives you that 15% chance to stun, so you're always getting like some kind of CC out of it most of the time. But at the end of the day, it's just gimmicky. It's just super gimmicky. You don't really want to run it. I just I don't get the 1 second. That's still so puzzling. Like, why 1 second? I'm sure they're gonna change it. You know, I'm sure they're gonna take the second duration off of it. Keep forgetting to swap to werewolf so I get my buff. Make sure I don't leave any. Hopefully I didn't leave anything behind me. I would hate to have to backtrack. Good, I didn't leave anything. Okay. Alright, let's get up and go. Alright, let's go ahead and swap on over to our softcore character. All right. Let me plug my phone in. Now we don't have to worry about dying. Let's go ahead and do the celebratory death. Just run out into the open and die for fun. Yeah, this is perfect. Just let ourselves die. Feels so good. Ah, that's nice. That's so nice. Okay, now we can just go about our business. Oh, did I not? I think I forgot to set up my gear too. Yeah. I think I logged off of this character without setting up my gear. I hate forgetting to do that because I hate spending time on stream, like, changing my gear out. It's not the funnest thing to watch. Yeah. Oh, no, you know what it is? Yeah, never mind. That's right. I don't have, I do not have aspects because this is my softcore character. So this is actually my first softcore character of the season. That's why. Let's do from Mercy's Reach. Let's just use random stuff. I mean, do I have enough stuff to make some incense? We got one incense. Let's go. Hellborn, Fallen. It's not really worth running that stuff right now just because it takes forever. Just better to do Nightmare Dungeons. How much? Okay, I do have double cast. Oh, I gotta put quicksand. Quicksand. I forgot about quicksand. That's what I wasn't putting on. I was like, why am I not generating resources? Forgot to put on quicksand. Let's go. Oh, I don't even have a title selected. There we go. That's better. Honestly, I mean, you can use the Earthbreaker ring for this setup. But it's not too bad without it. You don't necessarily... Oh, I forgot to change this. Bad habit here. Swapping this to that. There we go. Look how slow it is. I hate that about Landslide. It just so it comes out so slow. It's like the laziest looking core skill that we have. Just like you cast it and then it takes a second and then it comes out of the ground. Just looks so funny. Just random tornadoes doing all the damage.